Hey, Basket Brains. Kirby here, aka Darkling Disc, and I am alongside Ollie DePina, and welcome to episode 4 of the K.O Disc Golf Show. Episode 4, this is number 4, this is the Joe Cronin episode. He's a famous Red Sox player who wore number 4. He was the very first retired number by the Red Sox. Other famous number 4 players, Bobby Orr, Charles Barkley, Jimmy Fox, Roger Hornsberry, and some guy named Lou Gehrig, whoever the hell that is. This is also 004, the Charmander episode. Let's get right into it. We're going to thank the sponsor of our show, Krava Organics. They're located in West Seattle. Specifically, I want to thank Matt and Linnell. If you ever go in there, you'll meet their 2 dogs, Eleanor and Olivia. Those guys are awesome. They sell really, really high quality Kratom and Krava products. Actually, here with us, we have a couple of these Mitras. I have the black cherry flavor. Ollie, what flavor do you have?
I have the tangerine.
Cool. Yeah, so we're going to crack these open and give them a try. So let's get right into it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like really good, actually. It's kind of like, the black cherry is kind of like tart. It's
yeah, it has like that tart flavor.
Yeah, but it's like not. It kind of tastes like what I want like liqueurs to kind of taste like, where I want them to have just like 5 to 10% more flavor.
Yeah,
that's kind of nice. Yeah, these are great. They're alcohol free, caffeine free, sugar free. I know Krava Organics carries a bunch of different flavors, and they have a lot of them on their shelves all the time. So yeah, if you're interested, I would say run by there and check one of these out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that tangerine flavor is really was a really nice tart, like you were saying, with that flavor.
Yeah,
I like that.
The black cherry definitely tastes more like cherries and not kind of that medicinal kind of like medicine kind of taste that you kind of get a lot. So
yeah, I was thinking, kind of looking at it, was kind of gonna have that, but definitely surprised me. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, pleasantly surprised. I don't like a lot of the Krava at times because it kind of tastes a little muddy. So this is like a refreshing mix to all those. So
yeah.
All right, time to get these off. It's hard to see stuff. Ollie, how's your week been, man? How's it going?
It's been a good busy week. No tournaments for myself, which was nice. Got to play some more casual rounds. Not keeping scores as much, just getting some real practice in. It was really nice. I mean, we got around in yesterday, and
yeah, it's cool.
Again, just a good learning round. So
man,
enjoyed that.
I got to the shop yesterday, and Brian's like, "How's your morning?" And I was good. I was like, "Ollie smoked me at North Park today," and he's like, "No, really?" And I was like, "Dude, he smoked me." I was like, "You got some of the coolest, luckiest kicks." And you were making all your putts and you were hitting fairways. You were playing awesome yesterday.
I appreciate that. Definitely, sometimes it's my home course, so it feels good to play well there. And yeah, definitely got the home course luck with it too. You get the good kicks and
all the special lines.
Get some fun play.
Yeah,
exactly.
You threw some crazy shots with that tilt, that spike that you had on was it 14 back there to get it into the backside? That was gross. I was like, I can't believe this. Yeah.
If I'm ever anywhere if it's not perfect, I'm probably going to throw that up and over because it kind of takes the entire fairway out of the equation. Yeah. And if I do get hit down, I'm 20 feet, which is a putt. I'm I can hit that.
You were bullseye. It was so crazy.
Yeah, and then besides that, I'm wrapping up my job at Mario's and kind of going to be joining the Bach family and working over there. And so I'm really excited for that. Kind of been a busy week wrapping some things up, but very thankful for my time at Mario's and the people I met and everything like that. It was really, really sweet. Had some sweet managers, had some sweet coworkers to work with that will be friends for life. So thankful, but excited for a new chapter.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I know Brian and Jacqueline, his head of operations, are really excited to get you on board and get you in there and kind of acclimate with the system a little bit. So I spent a little bit of time also working at Bakabak, and I had a really great experience. Everybody was really positive, and it's a good way to make some money for sure. So I know that they're currently looking for delivery drivers. So if you're watching this, you're thinking about making some money, some extra money at times, maybe reach out to Bakabak about being a delivery driver. So
Yep, could be cool. I mean, you'll work with me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Ollie, you said you went to, or you're watching another F1 race, talking a lot about getting into F1 racing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, tell
So
me all about it, man.
yeah, so kind of got into it this year really quickly. It only took like it's only been like watching it for a couple months now, but from that couple months, it's like every free time I'm watching this show or watching the history of this on YouTube and watching this race there and learning about that. And F1 Seattle and Showroom Auto Works, they did a awesome event over at STK Bellevue,
Mhm.
and that was last weekend. Got to celebrate my tournament win by going out and getting some drinks and hanging out and meeting some people and watching the race over because it was a midnight race in China. So that was really
Crazy.
fun.
Yeah,
Got to watch that. Yeah. And then I did have a tournament the next day, so little bad planning, but had a lot of fun with that.
yeah,
And then this week they're in Miami, so it's going to be at a regular time, and so I'm kind of excited for that.
nice.
And my first race I'm watching that's not at like midnight, so will be cool.
Gotta be sick.
Um, the Ferrari team they're rocking a baby blue and another Dino blue, so had to get the blue Ferrari hoodie for the week, and excited for that. And I'm going to be going to an event because thankfully my Shelton tee times I'm the very first group to tee off, so I'll be able to tee off, get done, watch the race, and go to this event and everything like that. It should just be a fun weekend.
That's great. Yeah, it's a sick looking hoodie, man. Yeah, we're gonna get into Shelton in a little bit, but I love the early tea times. We're gonna dive into that shortly for sure. My week's been
Yeah.
pretty chill. Kind of just gearing up to go and play Shelton and then going to Vegas. So we were talking about it yesterday, but I spent a lot of time kind of like reworking my putt and kind of getting my putt kind of feeling together and feeling good. So it feels really confident right now. I'm excited to get out to Shelton tomorrow and play a couple of rounds for practice and kind of reacclimate myself with a few of those lines. So, getting right into Shelton, might as well. I love the early tee times, right? Like as you kind of brought up, like I love playing early. I it's never my favorite thing when I see that my tee time is like 3:50 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So yeah, as far as like, thanks Mark Hill. I really appreciate it. Like
Yeah.
that's awesome. Also, have you seen the caddy book that he sent out?
Well, I looked over it with like the actual holes and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's so well done. I was like going
Yeah.
through this and I was like, holy crap, you guys nailed this. Like it's simple, but like really like it explains like where everything is, like the key trees that you need to avoid in the fairways and stuff like that. So like just huge kudos to Mark Hill because it was really, really well done. I was going through it. I was like, man, this is like, I was going through that one and I was going through the Las Vegas Challenge caddy book and I was like, the Shelton caddy book's like almost easier to read, so
Yeah. It's really cool to see that, and there's been a lot of discourse on like uh social media I've been seeing actually talking about the good and bad of like disc golf signage, and they're comparing some DDO signage to the Champions Cup, I want to say, or maybe one of the other ones, but just like some of them offer no information where you're like, this kind of helps me less now, where I'm getting like this information that doesn't even make sense to me when there's like, it's not too hard to put in a sign or a caddy book where it's super, super easy to explain and everything. Because I've only been to Sheldon once, but when looking through that, I can see like hole 7 and know exactly where I'm at and like kind of imagine that hole. So yeah, kudos to him.
yeah, yeah. Just everything about Shelton just looks so good. I would say probably about this time last year, maybe a little earlier last year, when they kind of started getting ready for the Cascade Challenge. That was the silver event. Shelton looks amazing. The signage up there is incredible. The way they used wood chips and mulch in that, it's phenomenal. I'm really excited to get out there. I love playing there. So we got that, and then I got a couple weeks later, we're going back there for the Cascade Challenge, the qualifying series. So,
Super cool.
which kind of brings us to our next topic, which is the Cascade Challenge, the non-DGPT event, which was just this past weekend. Um, I put out a poll or I put out a question on my Instagram and I asked people like what tournament, from the local area should I talk about? And that one was brought up and they asked it like, is this tournament losing prestige with how small it is and how event and what's going on? And honestly, I don't know what else is going on this past weekend that might have brought people away from Shelton or going to other events in that, but I don't know. I mean, what it's it's an interesting question as to like why the field is so small. I don't even understand like I don't necessarily know why or how to build prestige into the event. You know what I mean? Like you had the ability to do a silver event, which brought a lot of people out. I thought the event went really well, to the point where I was excited to see it at least be a qualifying series, which we'll get into even what those are, after this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, like, what do you think? Like, what do you think would be like a cool way to build prestige, to an event like that?
Well, I think about so I mean I didn't sign up for it and I didn't go to the event. It was kind of one I was thinking of doing and wanting to do, but with Shelton the next weekend it was hard to be like I'm gonna drive
Back to back
all that way,
weekends.
both yeah, back to back weekends,
Okay,
prep for that weekend. So I think that's hard with that. So like having because Sheldon Springs opens a B tier.
you have to be tier.
Yeah, so having like an eight and then this it was an A tier, so having an A tier, B tier weekend is definitely good and like allows people to go to the events, but it's hard when you have people committed for you. Some people might be committed for both weekends, but a player like if I'm having to drive over an hour and a half to get to the course, it's hard. Like
You
now
got to
I have
kind
to
of pick
start
and
thinking of like
choose.
camping,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and so
yeah.
it's
And
hard with that. So building prestige with that would maybe be maybe planning. I know, and then there's like other tournaments they do there as well. So it's definitely
yep.
hard, but
I will say, if I was an MP40 or if I was MP40 eligible, I 100% would have came out and played this event. I would have, not that I'm necessarily going to think that I'm going to go out and win, but I'm just saying first place for MP40 won $1,000. Second place won $650. That's worth, for me, like that's worth driving out there. That's a big payday, for a pro player. Like I totally, FP40, the winner was, shout out Christy Lee, won $850. That's amazing. Shout out Chance Dad and Jason Koch too, But like that's
yeah,
like shout out Jen Rice, you won $510. Like that's like a real payday for a weekend of disc golf. Like
yeah.
and that's awesome. And Chance Dad now has an A tier win on his PGA record. Like that's amazing, So
hmm
um I like I said, I don't necessarily know what pushed people away, and I'm not even sure what's like when we go into the DGPT Q Series event coming up. There's only 74 people signed up. We got 56 out of 108 spots for MPO filled. So people just like aren't coming out. And I saw the list, and there's like I don't know, there's a bunch of like really good players. Like I think I saw like Chandler Fry and
Yeah.
Ezra Robinson signed up. So I mean, there is some like
Oh,
yeah, so like there is some like pro players coming out, but I don't necessarily know what's like not bringing more players out. Like at this kind of event, you would almost expect to see a lot more players, coming in from this side of Canada and maybe coming up from Oregon, or more players coming up from Oregon, and maybe even some players coming over from like Montana and Idaho and that too, right? So
hmm I don't know where my phone is, but I think Bodan's a disc golf. He makes disc golf videos. He might be signed up for that Q Series event.
okay,
But that was the one of the only other names where, and he's like kind of making disc golf content, traveling and doing a bunch of those Q Series events. So I
is
think
is he
having,
like touring for the Q series?
I think kinda.
Because that's
I
pretty.
haven't been
That's
following it as much, but it's a cool thing what he's doing. But I think he's trying to compete and then doing some. I think he's competing in some bigger tour events as well. But I could be wrong. But
yeah.
got to double check with that. But it's pretty sweet to see that and see him covering those different events. I remember earlier in the year just hearing that was his plan to do that.
Hmm.
Um, and then seeing like, oh, that's like a total possible way to like see hit like this is he's trying to go and make the pro tour and like play with these people and it's a totally great opportunity to go and play with like really like you're saying great names like Ezra Robinson, Chandler
Hmm.
Fry, like it's super cool to see like even those guys coming. But going back to like building prestige, I think just doing it more years and years and years, having it an annual like this is going to be here kind of event will also help do that, which it just takes time.
Yeah, I
But
totally agree. I think it's
I,
on. I think it's headed in the right direction. Um, it would be interesting to see maybe that combine itself with the Shelton Springs Open, into like merge those into like one event and just have it be an A tier as part of the Pack Ice Cup, because maybe that's what's driving
yeah,
people more towards the B tier instead. Which, like, I don't know. I don't know if that's good or not personally. Like, because the Pack Ice Cup is great, and I think that's an amazing thing for us to have as like a Washington State series. But you want to have the best. You want to have all the best events part of it, and like Mark Hill runs an amazing event, so you know what I mean.
mhm,
So I don't know. It's
yeah.
I agree with you though. The more they do it and the longer that they do the event, the better and more prestige that's going to come with it. You keep it in A tier for long enough, for sure.
Yeah, because the next year it's gonna be like what? Like there's gonna be the top three is gonna be like big name, big name, big name, and now it's gonna be the next year it's gonna be like, oh, I want to be a part of that. I want to be in that top three. I want to
Mm,
be with those big names that have won these tournaments. So, yeah, exactly, time and everything like that. But
yeah.
I'm gonna have to. I was already planning on going down, but I met Ezra Robinson at NADGT in Austin, and he was really, really cool. He was really cool. I really enjoyed talking with him and got some discs from him. Never really threw a Prodigy disc or anything like that, but he got me to get two PA3s and throw them, and I was liking them. And then I got one on my wall now,
Yeah.
so it's pretty sweet.
I'll say the PA3 is probably Prodigy's best disc. Just like
Yeah,
it's probably the only disc that like the masses throw kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like nobody,
it's
not too many people that like the D2 or anything like that. So yeah.
that and I know Alden Harris and Shoestrick really likes the PA5 when it came out.
Okay.
I think it was a little flippier of a putter, but yeah, I remember going to Live Oak Brewing, got the PA3, and I played around with it. I had him sign one, and then I threw the other one, and
Mhm.
I was like, this thing just goes forever. I was like, it's just such a far straight flying putter, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited. I didn't know he was signed up for that, so
Yeah.
new news with
Yeah. I
that,
think that
and
was
it's
pretty.
really sweet to see.
Yeah, I think he signed up pretty recently. But let's get into like what the Q Series is, because I actually did some research into it yesterday. I went on the Disc Golf Pro Tour website. If you just Google PDGA Q Series, the website comes up and you can see all this information for yourself. I'm not going to read everything from the website here, but just the idea is that it allows the kind of like fringe touring players or the fringe professional players that aren't necessarily on the Pro Tour but maybe have Pro Tour capabilities. This is an avenue for them to get silver cards, which is a partial tour card, or a full-on tour card. And this goes for both MPO and FPO. There is a Q Series championship that goes with it as well. So the thing that I find really interesting about this is that they use the top three Q Series scores. Like when you play Q Series, you get points based off of how you finish compared to the other players in the Q Series. I believe, and I might be wrong about this, but because Ezra Robinson, for instance, is already going to be secured in having a tour card, Ezra Robinson isn't going to be qualified for any Q Series points. He's just going there to play a tournament and, probably make some money, right?
Yeah.
Which is like totally
He's
fair.
he's one of those guys too. I've been following him on Instagram too, even before I met him. Like I'll just see him signed up for like tournaments every weekend. Like he'll be like just going traveling and doing a bunch of things, but he grinds a lot of tournaments. So
Yeah.
he's cool to see.
Yeah, he plays like him. I know like Gannon and Alden Harris. They're going to be at Las Vegas Challenge. I know they play like pretty much everything. Like they played Memorial and stuff, and a lot of other players just opted to have the weekend off. So I love that kind of like grinded out mentality a little bit. Um, but the thing with the Q Series is that uh, you need to have like the top three events to qualify to it, and we're looking at Colorado, Austin, Texas, Shelton, Washington, Ogden, Utah, Liberty, MO. What's that? Oh man, I'm so dumb. I'm so bad with states.
Missouri? No,
Missouri,
no.
Holt. What's MI then? Thank you for also not knowing this because I feel so dumb right now. But we're looking at, as far as
I
like,
looked up state MO comes up with Missouri.
okay, and then what's MI? Michigan then? That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Michigan's totally a state, dude. Yeah, it's the hand. Yeah. All right. Cool. Cool. Yeah. All right. And this was the United States with the KO podcast. Um, so yeah, I mean,
Okay.
realistically, if you're gonna live in the Pacific Northwest, one, we're already deprived of Pro Tour events as it is. You know, the two events going to Portland, and then nothing else coming anywhere near here besides OTB, which is so far away, anyways. That's kind of crazy. But outside of that, you have Shelton, and then you have one in Colorado, and then what's closer? What's probably the next closest, like Utah?
Vegas. Oh yeah,
Yeah, Vegas
Utah.
isn't even a qualifying series; it's just a Big 8 here.
Wow.
You know, so it's one of those things where if they want um, players who are able to tour to go on there, like players who are able to tour are already touring. Like somebody who's going
Yeah.
to go play these qualifying series probably isn't going to be able to be driving, you know, series to series. They're probably not able to get into Pro Tour events where they're like following the Pro Tour along. So I don't. I think this is a great thing. I don't think that this is the final form of it. I think that this is going to have to take a lot of tinkering and kind of reworking. I would love to see like every state, and I don't know if this is a thing or not. I know like we have the Pac X Cup. I know there's like a Wisconsin State Series. I would love to see every state have its own series, and the winner or the top three of the state series or whatever gets sent to the qualifying series championship. You know what I
Get a
mean?
bid. Yeah.
Yes, right.
You're
But
playing
yeah,
for bids.
yes, but you have to be the best in your state or the best in your, you know, maybe some states get two sides because you have so many people in California. So it's
Yeah.
a Northern California, Southern California thing. Sure. I think that would be great. I think that would be an amazing way to kind of trim it down, you know, but that gives every state an opportunity. Maybe, you know, I don't know, like maybe like, and I'm not trying to pick on like Alaska and Hawaii, but maybe in Alaska and Hawaii, like don't have one because you know they don't have enough courses or enough tournament, you know what I mean, or enough players, enough tournaments in the state to make it happen, kind of thing. Maybe they do, and that's amazing, and that's like a huge storyline. Is that this person that nobody's ever heard of, this like 90 rated player out of Hawaii, is out here like
Yep.
you know crushing it in like North Carolina or something, and he's getting his qualifying series out of you know, or he's getting his tour card because he qualified out of Hawaii. Like that's amazing, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see something like that implemented. I think that would also be a really cool way to kind of show off like the AAA level, you know, kind of disc golfers that are in the game, those kind of MPO and FPO players. So that's my
Yeah, I agree.
that's my pitch for the Q
I,
series. Not that anybody was asking, but you know, there it is.
I mean, I think that's who they should be like listening to, though. The players that want to compete in these Q series, or think the people that could be like the driving of that. And like, if you, I mean, those are the realistic, like, you're going to be playing in these events. So it's like, yeah, like your
Yeah,
ideas should matter more than almost anyone else's because you're the one doing this as well. So
yeah. I just
I think for the quality of life, it's going to be important to like have those kind of like in changes and improvements. But like if you look at any like sports thing, there's always like some kind of like farm or system way
hmm
that has like a direct path to it, and this kind of just makes that a little clearer.
Yep.
Besides just winning like tour spots, you know.
Yeah, 100%. So, like I said, you know, I don't exactly know, you know, nobody really asked, and I don't exactly know the best way to improve that, but just kind of like going through it and looking at it yesterday, I was thinking like there's got to be a better way because this doesn't seem necessarily practical, you know, for like players who, you know, are that like 1010 rated player that doesn't have a tour card already and whose sponsors aren't paying for other travel and stuff. That it's a really hard ask for that random player to now shell out all the money to fly to this place or drive literally across the country to play in an A tier. You know, like you're driving like all this way, you're spending like, you know, 2 weeks of your time, you know, all this money to drive and stay out there and, you know, feed yourself and take care of yourself out there. And like best case scenario is you win like $1,000. You know,
Hmm.
like it's kind of like a tough ask for a lot of players. So, like I said, I think that the state series is like a fun idea. So,
Yeah, I think it also it kind of for the right now it does like the Bodanza disc golf, the guy who's going and doing some of these events
yeah,
and
I'm
like
gonna check out
traveling,
his
he's
stuff
able
today.
to. Yeah, definitely do. He has some cool videos. He's I recently sponsored by Infinite, so he's been
I do
getting
know
some
who you're
more. I
talking
think he has,
about. Yeah, I've seen his
yeah.
stuff. He has a good video at New London where the Worlds is going to be. He
Hmm.
has a really good video out there.
Yeah, I think he breaks disc golf down in a way that because he's I want to say he started around the same time I did. So for anyone new, I think he is a lot of good information that is like for a newer disc golf brain as well. So I'm a fan of him, but yeah, I think it kind of shows that route where you can do a disc golf content creation and also have that be like he's able to make a bunch of videos and go to these different places and film videos at different courses and kind of like I think that's another way he goes about doing these kind of events as well, because definitely a big revenue I feel like for him.
Cool. Yeah,
He plays out in Denver, I
yeah.
want to say.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
his YouTube is really popular. I was just gonna check him out here for a second. Yeah, I've seen him around. I've seen some of his stuff pop up. I like what he's doing, definitely. So
Yeah.
he's definitely more the content creator side of things, which is very, very
Hmm.
difficult to do while trying to also like play your best disc golf. Like you and I have talked about that a lot. Like there's a fine line between like getting out and like throwing shots and practicing and also like filming everything and, being conscious of like, oh, I got to do some social media stuff today and that. We talk about that a lot with like our teammates and stuff like that too. So
Yeah. Sometimes I think it's even better, like some of the videos I filmed doing disc golf, it's like, yeah, like the only time I have Roxy who comes to all my events and films all my shots, which is for the good, like I'll go and watch my entire round over, all the good and the bad,
better or
relive it a
worse.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like there is a few times where it's like, oh, I don't want to watch this, and it was a little like the YouTube video I have, the kayak point video. That was a tough edit for me. Like
Yeah.
I think I started off with like a three putt or a four putt or
Yeah.
something like that, just kept chaining out, and I was like, well, I gotta be
Oh,
raw with it. I
yeah.
was like, it's a tournament round, and I feel like it just shows that like it happens. And then the next hole, I'm like smacking it, and like so it was good.
Yeah.
And
So, last year at I think it was the Tree Smack was the A tier at SeaTac. I went to a 5-hole playoff with Kyle Crabtree and Chandler Fry for the win and ended up losing to Kyle after 5 holes. Um, but hole 26, I missed like a 18, 20 footer. I just like caged it short. And that would have been like the win. Like, like kind of like I would have had the stroke for the win. And Corey Parker, who's on the box squad, I'm pretty sure it was him who was caddying for me, and he filmed the whole round for me. And that was I I basically like didn't look at that video for like months. I was like, I know what that felt like. I was like, I don't need to like watch it. And then after a few months, I was like, I kind of need to like. There was like a moment where I was like, it was like breaking up with an ex-girlfriend. I was like, I got to get rid of this. I was like,
yeah,
I got to watch it. I got to like feel it. And then I got to like delete it. And I did all that in like a day. And it was just like, okay, we're over this now kind of thing. But there's definitely
you
like
gotta validate it.
yeah, there was like
Yeah,
months though where I was like, I can't look at this video. I don't want to sit here and watch this. Like I would go through some of the other videos for like, content. And then all of a sudden I would get towards that area and I'd be like, okay, we're good. Like, so
yeah.
I definitely feel
Definitely,
that. Yeah. So it's hard when
you
those kind
have
of things
to
happen.
Yeah, that's probably something I do say the most. It's like when I do have a bad shot, oh, I will be like, damn, or like be a little upset, because I'm not gonna allow myself to not validate.
Hmm.
Because if I have a bad shot, I have to validate it.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's like whatever, but the second I'm able to like validate it with if it's like a disgruntled look or like a little like or like like scoff at it or whatever, but whatever it is, I'm validating it, thinking about it, and then I just say, what can I do from there? And I think that's like the best thing you can do with that.
Yeah. I totally agree. All right, let's move right along into our Champions Cup quick recap. I really don't have much. I'm kind of excited to hear what Ollie has to say. I know he said he was excited to kind of dive into FPO a little bit. First and foremost, I want to give a quick shout out to my Discmania teammate, Casey White. He kind of came out with a super, super strong start. Absolutely amazing. Super, super excited to see the group chat kind of going crazy for him. So that was awesome. And then also congratulations to Fresno. I was so excited to see him win. He plays the style of golf that I think I play, which is very just like smart, safe. I'm not going to get overly aggressive. I'm not going to try to throw hero shots, and I'm going to put myself back into position where I can take the easiest par or the easiest bogey or give myself the easiest chance at birdie kind of thing. So I absolutely love it. I was really excited to see him win that. So, hi, Butch. You wanted to make your appearance?
Yes, my mom's gonna be really
Yeah.
excited.
This is
My mom
Butters.
this morning, I told her I was going down to film, and she's Butters,
Yeah,
Butters,
this is
Butters.
this is his favorite thing where he just kind of gets up in the ear and then he just wants you to kind of
She's
rub.
ready to make him a new co-host.
Oh
She wants
yeah,
him as a regular.
yeah. He's gonna force his way on. That's for sure. But yeah, Ollie, do you want to get into FPO a little bit?
Yeah, quick. I like seeing Calvin Heimberg back in the top five. Ezra Robinson, like we were talking about, tied for third, which was pretty cool. Like again, he'll be out here and doing the Shelton event. With the FBO side, yeah, very exciting. I'm kind of excited to think this is gonna. I think for this show, I'm gonna be doing the FBO heading of like for when we do talk about kind of like the Pro Tour and different things like that. Didn't get to watch all the rounds, but I'm got to watch the last the three, just not the first one, and it was cool to see Innova top three. Like Evelina is kind of like putting together a lot of those like different slumps of last year, where the putting and like arid shots and like that, and coming out hearing news of her not even putting practice and different things like that. But to see her this year, because this isn't her first tournament, kind of doing well. She had a forget the exact event, but she had an earlier one that she was doing really, really well at. So to see her put together her game and be like a huge competitor right next to Henna, who like you kind of got to see them develop over like the last 2 years, which is really cool for myself and become like top two at this like the first major of the year. And then Owen Scoggins third place is always super sweet to see. She might be one of my favorite touring pros, just like
She's so fun to
pure
watch.
pure vibe,
Yeah,
just
no,
pure
100%.
vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
And I met
like
her last year at Beaver State Fling. We were just kind of there was like a big backup on one of the tee pads, and I was just chatting with her for a minute. And she is so like insanely nice. And like if you watch her like on coverage enough, like I think that's her husband that caddies for her a lot. And when she
mhm.
has a really good shot, she'll walk up and like slap him in the butt sometimes and stuff like that. Like she's so funny, dude. Yeah.
There's a clip of her, and she was like, if I do well, have a beer. If I don't do well, still have a beer."
Yeah.
And it's just like she's just
So
the vibe. She
relatable.
puts in the
Yeah.
work, and it shows. Like when she's putting, she's like, "I'm gonna do it when it's not fun. I'm gonna do it when no one else is doing it, and I'm gonna go kick ass in every tournament that I have." So that was super cool to see. It was interesting to see that, Kristen is beatable and, like she's not,
Hmm.
any given day, it can be anyone. So for the Innova girls, ladies to step up and have that kind of tournament in top three, that was really cool to see. Ella Hansen with another top 10, and then a few dropouts. So you didn't get to see, I think it was, I know Haley King missed the cut money line for the very first time, which was hard to see, but I think those kind of struggles allow a player to get better and learn, and I think she's just so talented, so it's going to be right there for her as well.
She's going to be one of the best eventually. Like there's
Yeah,
not a doubt in anybody's mind when you watch her play.
it is super apparent, and when I first started trying to get better at disc golf, I someone told me find a pro that kind of has similar height and weight to you and try to imagine you throwing like that. And I was looking at some MPO guys, and it was kind of hard, easy to find the height, kind of harder to find the weight. And so, but I saw her throw, and I was like, that looks like me. I was like, I could
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
So I was like,
The curly hair matches. Yeah.
so I was like, I try to emulate a lot of things that she does really well, but she didn't make the money line. Jen Allen missed the money line. Paige Pierce missed the money line. So just some big names to miss the money line on a major.
Yeah.
There was the weather delay that first day, I want to say. So I think finishing the round was a little like interesting with that. But overall, Champions Cup was pretty sweet to see, and yeah, enjoyed it.
Yeah. First, I guess technically the first major of the year. I guess it's the
Yeah.
second major of the year for FPO because didn't Missy
Oh,
win the
you're
other
right.
one, right? Yeah. Did
Mm-hmm.
Missy
Mm-hmm.
win the other one?
You're 100% right. I think it was.
I don't know. Not only do we not know our states, but we don't even know who won the tournaments. So that's what you come to the KO show for is misinformation. Guys who don't know what the hell they're talking about. So
No, I swear, I swear, I swear.
yeah, yeah. Oh, funny. All right. Yeah, I
Um,
do want to find out really quick. Was it FPO major winner 2023? Aren't you guys pumped that you came to see us do research for our own show? Isn't that great?
It was Missy.
It was Missy? Hell yeah, dude. I knew that.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, cool. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, as you said, Kristen's not unbeatable. She is still a driving force in FPO, and she's still the woman to beat, but she's not unbeatable, in any given week. So,
Yeah, I kind of saw that with AB too. Like
mhm.
both, I mean, AB was tied 10th. It was kind of cool. I was kind of hyped to see Paul Macbeth tied with him. I was like, Paul back in the top 10 and all that. So, love that.
Sorry.
That is okay.
Yeah, this is what happens with
I think I'm not gonna edit that out.
yeah.
We're gonna keep it going. I like that.
Yeah, no, just leave this all in. It's fine. Yeah,
Yeah, keep it running.
Butters decided he wasn't done getting the snuggles. Leave it all in. That's funny. All right, so gonna move on to our next subject. I think it's a good time to do that. 1 second, just want to make sure stuff's still plugged in. Okay. All right, so on to our next subject. We're gonna do some sponsorship talk. So I will say maybe once a week, once every other week, I get asked, hey, like, what do I got to do to get on the box squad? If you don't know, as an owner of Emerald City Discs, we have our pro team, which is Team Emerald City, or Emerald City Discs, and then we have our amateur team, which is Box Squad. My business partner, Brian, owns Bakabak. Ollie, you're a member of the Box Squad. I'm the
Yes, sir.
captain and owner of the Team Emerald City Discs. So one of the things I kind of just want to talk about real quick is kind of a little bit about like what my experience is with trying to get sponsored. I'm also sponsored by Discmania and Krava Organics, as we talked about. I want to talk a little bit about like what sponsors are looking for and kind of maybe like what you can do to get noticed. So, but first and foremost, I want to talk about like what it means to be sponsored and like what a sponsorship is. Sponsorship, in my opinion, is me as a company putting my resources into you as a player that will then come back with business towards me, right? So Discmania sponsors me as a player. They give me product, they give me stuff with the intention that I'm going to go out and throw it. I'm going to represent their brand so well that people are going to see me throwing it and people are going to be like, oh, I want to throw that now too, which is then going to drive Discmania business, right? Like nobody's looking to just hand out stuff for free without getting anything back in recuperation. That's not how business works. And it's kind of the same thing with us with like Box Squad and with Team Emerald City Disc. When I sponsor a player for Emerald City Discs, I expect that person to be doing some social media stuff. I expect them to be wearing my merch or wearing, some of our hats or our shirts, when they're out playing. And when somebody asks like, hey, do you know a place in Seattle where I can go and get some discs? They say, yeah, Emerald City, like right there, and it's
Hmm.
kind of the same thing with like Box Squad is we want you guys go out and be good representatives of who we are, right? We want you to wear our gear well. We don't want somebody to go out and be a wild card on the course, wearing our shirt and people being like, oh, what's up with that guy? Well, anybody that wears those box shirts are, kind of like off. Like, no, we don't want stuff like that. We want people to, we want to have people represent us well.
Yeah.
So that being said, what sponsors are looking for? Sponsors are looking for you to get yourself out there. We're doing this show because we realize like, hey, if we do this long enough, like we'll build a following, people are, and that will help us gain sponsorships with companies and that and kind of help build our brand and our portfolio, in the future.
100%. I mean, that's, yeah, a big thing of mine. Like, this is something I'm doing. So, add it on the resume, get my like thoughts and face out there and do that more. So when I do go to apply to some, like any company, like they can go click this and they just see video, 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 video.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely like important and something like you have to do.
Yeah.
Like you have to do.
Yeah, Ollie, you're great at social media. Something we've talked about this before is like you have a great following, you have a great personality on social media, you do a lot of the right stuff that I think is awesome. So I think that alone, will help with sponsors and kind of getting that is having good social media. If somebody says that they're interested in being on the Box Squad and I search for their name on Instagram or Facebook and I see that they have like 120 followers and they haven't posted since, August of 2023 or October of
Yeah.
2023, it's just like, oh, like
Yeah.
this person's not putting themselves out there. This person's not, being the brand ambassador and being the marketer, that we kind of need them to be, or that, that's what kind of disc golf sponsorships are, is you're out promoting the brand. And, if you don't post or anything like that, there's no promotion.
100%. Yeah, like when I do a tournament or I'm playing with someone that I haven't met before, like it is almost like whether I do good or bad, the thing I want to leave from that round is like I want these people to say like, "Oh, I enjoyed playing with Ollie." Like he was a person on my card that I'd want to play with again. And I think that just goes so like you have to be a represent you are representing like an arm and a leg to what Bok Bok is and what your sponsor is.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking about what you post on Facebook or Instagram and thinking about like your digital footprint does matter,
Yeah.
and like people do see that kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think when it comes to getting noticed on, or how to get noticed, from sponsors, easiest thing to do is to have an Instagram that's active, and have an Instagram that's active with the sponsor that you're pursuing. If you're a big fan of, man, pick a brand, right? Like if you're a
Yeah.
big fan of, we'll say, I don't know, go for a brand that's a little smaller, like Legacy, for instance, right? Like let's say like you like the Legacy putter, the Hunter, so much, and you like the Rampage, and if you're always posting about Legacy stuff, and oh man, the new Legacy disc is coming out, I'm really excited to check it out. You're doing a lot of that. By the time sponsorships like season rolls around and you're applying for sponsors and you apply to Legacy, they're going to be like, wait, we know this name. We see this all the time because they're constantly tagging us and stuff. They're constantly putting videos out with our stuff, and that's going to go a long way. And that's the same thing for like us with the Box Squad and that. If you're interested in being on Team Emerald City Discs or being on the Box Squad, like sign up for our tournaments, like come out to our tournaments and, show us who you are, and come up and say,
Hmm.
like, come up to Brian and I and say like, hey, what's up guys? Like I wanted to introduce myself because I'm interested in being on the Box Squad at some point. Like, I'll see you guys around.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Like, if you do something cool in a tournament, tag us, right? Like, come and check it
Yeah,
out. Like,
100%.
yeah, like, know what we're doing.
Before I was on the team, I was tagging Box Squad and tagging the like Emerald City and
Moonsault.
stuff like
Oh,
that
yeah.
because there's only one way. And
Hmm.
like, I'd make sure I'd be like, "Oh, Roxy, take a photo, take a photo." I have like the Box Squad hat
Yeah.
on or something like that, and be like, I make sure like it's I show them like before I'm even on, it's something I want. And like I've built relationships and met like really cool people doing that with like in my own like kind of pursuit for sponsorship as well, like talking like I have a brand I like AGL a lot, like they're like just good people, smaller brand, some of their discs I really like. And so I went and joined their fan page and I've met like now I talk and follow with like a bunch of their team captains and I talk with the owner now. So it's just like if you want something like that, you have to be a part of that community as well. So and it's not going to be like you just get it, or sometimes it will be, but it all depends with that. But like most of the time, it's going to be something like you have to be foot in the door already and a presence in that community before. So when that rolls around and someone says, "Hey, what so and so applied," like Ollie applied, like, "Oh, I love Ollie," it's like it should be an instant thing with that.
Yeah,
So
totally. It's like with any other job, is you have to kind of have a little bit of experience, to get that job into some of those positions. And a little bit of experience could be you throwing their plastic, you throwing their discs, you
yeah,
showing them that you're able to do this. Think of like applying for a sponsorship and like one of those big brands. Think of it like a year of you doing like the interview process where you're literally just like showing them like what you can do and like what you're able to do, and show them that you have eyeballs watching you and you're able to reach out and have a following, and you're
hmm
able to have some minor influence, which is goes a long way. Just like, showing people you're a good person too. And that's the other thing for us on the Box Squad, is you don't necessarily even have to have a big social media following. If you're just a really, really good person and people just know you and like you, like that represents our brand really well as well,
yeah,
so not everybody has to be necessarily like high rated players. Not everybody has to have, like 1,000+ followers on Instagram. Like we're not necessarily,
hmm
that's not it, but that helps a lot at the same
yeah.
time, so
Yeah, and I wouldn't say with sponsorships, like when you do apply, and if you do apply and you don't get it, or if you hear back and it's like, because when even talking about Box Squad, I remember hitting up Brian and him being like, "Oh, we're full right now," a couple times, and then it was just kind of me being persistent and maybe a little. I think I won a tournament by like 8 strokes at SeaTac. I had almost 1,000 rated round in MA3, and I was like, I DM Brian in the middle of that round, and he was like, "Oh, we'll talk like we'll talk like tomorrow or something like that. Just have fun in your round." And I was like, "If we're talking soon, like I gotta go off." And I just remember having like the best round of my life. So
Hell yeah.
it's important to like be just because it's a no now doesn't mean it's a no forever.
Yeah.
It if anything, it just shows that that commitment isn't there because it's a no. Like I'm not gonna throw some like I'm making these things that are should be more natural. So when doing that, like yeah, I'd just say it's really important to stay committed to it.
Hmm.
Like just because you do get a no, it's like it's not personal attack. A lot of people do apply for these things, and then
Yes.
there's only so many people that can get it. So it's not
100%.
like a if you keep doing it, and be persistent. That's the number one thing. I almost guarantee you'll can get that if you put your head to it.
Totally. Something comes your way. I mean, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about my experience with applying for like disc manufacturers, and that you see, at my level, I'm a 1,000 rated player. I kind of thought like, oh, hey, now that I'm 1,000, like people just like want to sign me, and that's not how it works. Like people, they have teams already, coming on each year. Like they might only bring on, between the shuffle of losing a few players, bringing a few players on, maybe they bring on 10, 20 players tops, but you're looking at 10, 20
Hmm.
players from the entire United States at times, which
Yeah.
is not very much. I'm very, very fortunate to be sponsored by Discmania, which that sponsorship was totally different than anything else I've ever done. When I was sponsored by Loft, it was literally just because I wrote what I would call like a disc golf resume, where I made a very nice letter or like an email basically of all of my accomplishments in disc golf and what I was doing and what I had planned for the next year to kind of show them my value and who I was and that kind of thing. And then I sent that to my wife and was like, "Hey, can you make this sound smart?" Which she then made it sound like more professional and that, which was great. So what I did is I went to every manufacturer that I was interested in, and if they had an application process, like Discraft has an underground like form that you can fill out, I would go and
Yeah.
I would fill that out to the best of my abilities, right? And if I couldn't find any application or anything like that, I would try to find like a team manager or something. If I couldn't find that, I would find any email I could find on the website, and I would send them my disc golf resume. And it was to every manufacturer. It was like, "Hey, like I see you guys are doing this. I'm interested in this. Here's what I am. Here you go." And sometimes I was sending it to like the store, and they would be like, "Okay, I'll pass this along." And it's just like, "Awesome, I'm in the system." And other
Yeah.
times they would email you back and be like, "No, we're good." And you're like, "Okay, thanks." Like, but you got to try. Like, you got to put yourself out there. You got to email everybody and kind of give them that snapshot of like who you are, right? With
Yeah.
Discmania, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
No, and with Discmania, it was really interesting because I emailed Avery Jenkins actually just because I was looking for emails and I saw that he was a team captain. So I found his email and I shot him an email that was just like, "Hey, this is who I am. I'd be really interested in doing this." I'm a big fan of his already. AJ Destroyers all day kind of thing. So
Oh yeah.
he emailed me back like a couple weeks later and was like, actually, this he emailed me like Monday morning, and he was like, "On Saturday we're doing a combine in Vancouver, Canada at Raptors Knoll." He's like, "So if you'd like to come," he goes, "I'd love to have you. I'd love to meet you." And I was just like, "I'm there, no problem," because I'm big on don't pass up opportunities. When someone puts something in
Hmm.
your lap, like try to take advantage and like run with it. So I went up there, I did my thing for the day. I had one of the worst days of disc golf I could have possibly had, at like the worst times. I'm not one to like blame the weather, but the weather was like pretty brutal for me to do like a distance type thing. By the time I got to do it,
Hmm.
I got rejected by the basket for like putting competition a couple of times. And then when it went out for the round, I was just like, "Man, like today kind of sucks," and like did not throw my best round,
Hmm.
even though, I tried. But what was good about that is I got to meet Avery and I got to show him like who I am. And I kind of told him a little bit about Emerald City and about my coaching and about like the tournaments we run and kind of doing all that stuff. And he saw like who I was as a player. He looked into like my PDGA and he saw like my track record of being good at tournaments and, being a member of the community and that. So he reached out and he was like, hey, like what we can do is kind of put you into like more of like a entry level role and then let you build off of that. And I was like, I'll take it. And because
Yeah.
I'm big on the opportunity, right? Which was it was a difficult decision because I loved being sponsored by Loft. I loved working with those guys. Everybody there was so awesome and so nice to me. And they gave me so many opportunities and they did so many amazing things for me. But it was time to kind of move to the bigger manufacturer and kind of do that kind of thing. So there was never any like hard feelings against Loft. Everybody there was like, hey, we totally understand. We appreciate everything. And I was like, again, thank you guys so much for everything. So I still keep Nautilus disc, on the wall right there kind of thing. So, but yeah, the Discmania combine was definitely something like so different and that I've ever experienced before. Um, and I've had other companies like I'll just put it out there like Prodigy sent me their like smallest of smallest offers that they could possibly send somebody, and I was like, you guys didn't even look to see like who I was or anything like that. You
Yeah.
just like it's like like you want me to change my whole bag over, but you're going to give me like 4 discs and then like $75 of store credit, and I have to get a new bag because I'm not allowed to use anything
Yeah.
not your related. Like it was tough.
Yeah, not naming names, but I think I remember coming into the store and talking to you, like, and you're like, a company I was talking to, like, totally just like called me by the wrong name, like,
Oh yeah,
when
that
they called
happened.
me.
Yeah, that happened.
And I was like, oh, that's not a good
That
look.
happened. Yeah, we got on a
So,
FaceTime call and he addressed me by the wrong name, and I was just like, oh, I'm Kirby. He goes,
honest
oh yeah,
mistake,
yeah,
but
yeah.
definitely rubs you the wrong way,
It
a
doesn't set
hundred
it up
percent.
well. That was the same conversation, and yeah, I'm glad that we didn't out their name because that was the same conversation where he told me, I was like, hey, I found this disc in my used section. I was like, I found 2 of them, and one of them is like pretty overstable and like awesome. I was like, and the other one's like so flippy. He goes, oh, was it like this color, or did it have like this kind of top? And I was like, yeah. He goes, oh yeah, like some of the runs just come out a lot better than other runs. And I was like, are you telling me that your discs are just inconsistent across the board? And I was like, oh my God. So,
Yeah,
hearing stuff like that, I was definitely like, oh man, like this deal is going to have to blow me away for me to be like excited with signing on to you because like, some of those manufacturers were going to be like a tough transition to be like, I got to switch my whole bag over to a bunch of discs I'm not pumped about throwing. Where Discmania is the
yeah.
opposite. I was super pumped to like get some PD2s, get some DD3s, like my P2s. I was like, let's go, dude.
Yeah, those PD2s yesterday that you let
Oh,
me throw were
you were throwing that so
money.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, you have a good influence. Like, I definitely a couple more Discmania discs have got their way back into my
Yeah,
bag
yeah.
since,
I got
I mean,
a
since playing with you, I got the Spore, and then, I got those DD ones that I've been
I got
liking.
another
Oh,
one.
yeah.
That one's a freshie. And then they sent me this one, but I don't want to throw it. I'm not a big fan of orange, but this is a Team Discmania stamped with a Sky Stone. And
Oh,
I don't know if you
whoa.
can see on the back, but it's got the
The
Mania Knight.
swirly.
Well, the back has a
Whoa.
Mania Knight
Oh.
stamp. They're like one of. Hang on, I'm gonna take it out of the bag. Hang on. These are like really, really rare. I don't know if you can fully see like the Discmania Knight stamp or Mania Knight
Oh,
stamp.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so these are like already like really rare, and then for them to put the Team Discmania stamp on there too, I was like, oh my God, like
That's so
yeah,
sweet.
this is the only disc I actually have like bagged on the shelf because I sold all the other like collectible ones I had up there, but yeah, um, all right, and the last thing I want to kind of talk about when it comes to sponsorships is when I think the best time to apply for sponsorships is. I think the best time to apply is from that like October, November is when you need to kind of get yourself out there and start applying to people. You want to start in September, never a bad thing to start early. But those people who start applying in December, January, and February, everybody's set up by then. Everybody signs contracts from December January 1st to December 31st. Everybody does
Yep.
that. It's just the natural kind of way of things right now in the business. Um, Whether or not that's going to change, I don't know, probably eventually. I think they might sign more of like a March to November or March to October kind of thing, just to kind of cut out those last couple of months of the year or something. It's also like holiday season, and that's when they're trying to sell stuff too. So that turns into a whole business operation. But
Yeah.
the best time to apply is to get yourself out there September, October, November. Put yourself out. Email everybody you can, and maybe do it like twice. Like that's what I've been doing the last couple of years is I'll email everybody I can. I'll send it out once in like maybe mid-September, late September, and then by like Halloween, I'm doing it again. And I'm like, hey,
It's not gonna hurt,
no,
yeah.
just checking in, and maybe they do find me annoying. Cool, but you know what? You know my name, like so.
I'd rather be a little annoying and get the answer, like figure it out and like know that you're communicating with me and then just not do anything. I mean, it just shows that you want it.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ollie, do you have anything to add to the sponsorship talk, or?
Think just, yeah, wrapping up sponsorships, be out there, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to do that when opportunity comes,
Yeah,
take it. Those opportunities only come so often. And if you have an opportunity to show face or let them have an understanding of who you are even better, it can only benefit you. So get out there, apply, post, be active, and be consistent. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, awesome. All right, moving right along into our MLB check-in. We're gonna keep
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna keep this like relatively short. I do want to get a little
Yeah.
deeper into things, but we're already almost at an hour, and we're still got our draft after this
Yeah.
too. So, real quick, Bayo is down. He was one of our better pitchers. Pretty upset about that. But Devers is back, so that's awesome. Costas is going to be out for a long time, like I said last week, and Red Sox are just kind of like fighting to stay above 500. The Yankees at 19-10 are just looking so good. The Orioles are looking amazing. I can't believe like the Rays aren't as good as they are. The Guardians and the Royals surprisingly are killing it. I can't believe how bad the White Sox are. That's amazing. Your Seattle Mariners are leading the division by half a game. It's pretty tight over the Rangers. It is astounding how bad the Astros are this year at 9 and
Oh,
19. Like holy shit, dude.
it is bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mitch Garver walk-off home run yesterday. I was working and
hell yeah,
I was walking back and forth and I was watching. We were down 1-0. Oh, such a sweet shot.
that's
Really, I was honestly so stoked at work last night,
that's
and
fun.
so that's sweet. We're in our Atlanta week right now, and so
Okay,
I'm excited.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
playing the
awesome.
Braves.
Love it. Braves. Speaking of the Braves, they're leading their division over the Phillies. Miami Marlins with like being the worst team in baseball. That's really really surprising. The Brewers, leading their division over the Cubs by half a game, and then the Dodgers kind of just doing the thing that the Dodgers do and being amazing.
Yeah,
Leading their division. The Mariners, your pitching has really come around. I saw George Kirby's like control god or something like that. They're kind of calling him like the resurrection or like the next Maddox, which like I think I'm only okay with because his last name is Kirby and I'm like my guy. But also
yeah,
like Maddox was like amazing and like kind of don't throw shade at Maddox like that. Like
yeah.
he's the
No, I
guy.
feel that.
So yeah, but excited to get into next week of baseball. Hoping that the Red Sox kind of just like stay above 500 or a few games above 500 until the trade deadline. And then maybe we can pick up like a lineup bat or like a big bat or something because our lineup, which was supposed to be like the big force, is actually like not doing much at all right now. And the pitching continues just to be amazing. So excited for that for the Red Sox.
Yep.
All right.
Uh,
Let's get
yeah.
right into our next draft. So
Yep.
this week, Ollie and I have decided that we didn't want to. Well, not that we didn't want to, but we decided we're gonna like mix it up a little bit, and we're not doing a letter draft today. We're not doing the C draft. We're going to do a disc golf snack draft. So these are going to be snacks that you typically eat on the disc golf course. That's the idea behind it. Hopefully nobody's going to go too rogue and do something like silly that would be like you would never have that really on a disc golf course. I do have a question though before we get this started.
Yeah.
You do have the first pick because you won the draft poll from last week on our YouTube, which is, by the way, YouTube is the official poll for the K.O Disc Golf
Yep.
podcast. So go to our YouTube, go to the community tab, and find the latest poll and vote to let us know who has the better list. Please, when you finish this episode or while you're listening to this episode, go over there and do that now. But my question for you, Ollie, do drinks count?
Yeah.
You think so? Because like
I'm cool with
I don't
that.
know if like a drink is
But
a
I don't.
snack, but like
I'd be okay with excluding drinks.
okay, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'd be okay with not having any drinks.
I don't know if I put a couple of drinks down because when I am kind of having my snack, like I like to like bust out a drink too. It's like that combo, right? But I guess it's not necessarily like it's not a snack. So All right. Well, since you won the draft or the poll last week, do you want the first pick or do you want the second two?
I think I would rather have the 2-3, but I'm gonna take the one for fun
Wow.
because I have not had the one yet,
Okay.
and I think it's
So,
so with the number one pick. I think this is gonna be my consensus. I think there's a 2-3 that I could take. I mean, there's like a 1A, 1B, 1C almost for this, but for me, I think there's one thing that almost everyone has or has had out on the course, and it's probably the most popular, but gonna go like granola bars, like
okay.
those general, you get like the chocolate chip Cliff bars or the
Hmm.
bodybuilder bars or,
Yep.
I feel like those are the quick proteins, easy to have on on the course. I think there's a few other ones I like, but I think those are like when I think about, oh, I'm gonna go grab a snack at the gas station before I go play, I'm grabbing a couple granola bars.
Yeah.
So
What's your favorite? Is the chocolate chip your favorite version of the granola bar?
I like a good cookies and cream one,
Okay.
like
Yeah,
something
those
like
are good.
that. But
Yeah.
I'm a chocolate chip guy for
Yeah.
sure,
I like
for sure.
the white chocolate. I think maybe
Mm-mm.
macadamia nut Cliff bars. I think those are really good.
Oh,
Yeah, those are really
yeah.
nice. So, I got to be honest, man. I think you fucked up. Because if you're gonna take the number one pick, it's got to be beef jerky, and that's gonna be the number two pick now. It's beef jerky.
That was gonna be my one, but some not everyone eats meat was my thought with
Ah,
that. So
man.
I gotta. I know it's not the popular thing. I do. I'm a big
Yeah.
jerky guy,
Yeah.
but I immediately thought of my good friend Gabe who doesn't eat meat. So then I was like, I gotta, or he doesn't eat well, doesn't eat jerky
Yeah.
basically. So that so I was like thinking of him a little bit. He helps me a little bit with the drafts and he gives me probably the most feedback on my drafts.
Yeah.
Lets me know when I miss, lets me know when I hit. So
I see. Yeah. That.
shouting out to him. That's why I went granola bar.
Yeah. I personally huge blunder. I feel like I really got a
Yes.
huge value at the number two pick, getting the beef jerky. That's awesome. So as for like the next pick, I have a pretty good list here. I think granola bar or Cliff Bar was going to be. I assumed you were taking jerky, so that was actually going to be my number one pick. So that's still obviously a great pick nonetheless. Um, I'm gonna say almonds actually, because I love having like a
Oh,
pack of like flavored almonds or like cashews sometimes. I found these good cashews that I like, but like some almonds, some like smoked almonds or
n-
something like that. Like
nuts,
yeah,
nuts in general.
I think I want to say just nuts, but
Yeah,
specifically
that's fine.
almonds. But my pick is
Yeah,
gonna be nuts.
yep. We can put almonds on there, have the understanding. So then I have the next two
Yes, you
picks.
do. You have four and five.
I think an unpopular opinion because the effects it might have on your hands, but chips, I think is going to be my next pick.
Mm,
I eat chips when I
I
play,
love
but I know,
chips.
and I'm a little notorious for having like
Greasy
some like
fingers.
Doritos or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then I get it, I'm like, oh, I need to eat it with my left. I
yes,
go through
yep.
that debacle a lot, so it definitely a tough pick with that. But
Are Doritos your favorite
I
chip?
think, oh no, I would say my favorite chip. That's a hard one. I really like Sun chips a lot. That's
Yo,
like a
the
childhood thing.
French
I think some of
onion.
the like this French onion, the blue
Uh,
bag, the
yeah,
like red bag,
yeah,
the
yeah,
orange bag. I
totally.
think the variety bags of those are
Yeah,
by far
we're
the
gonna have to do
hardest.
a chip draft in the future. That sounds great, dude. I love chips.
That's a good
Yeah,
idea. So I got the granola bars, I got the chips, and then I think third snack I'd have to say is candy. You get your bogey and your birdie candy. I could
yeah,
have got that with the other one. I think candy is like the biggest pick me up I could have. I
yeah.
have a bad hole. Give me some Sour Patch Kids,
Okay,
specifically maybe Sour Patch Kids,
okay.
but
I
big
keep
Sour Patch
I
guy.
keep Airheads in the bag because it's a quick like I
Oh,
can
I'm a
shove an Airhead down real quick and like
you can
yeah,
keep in your mouth for yeah. I
yeah,
like the Airheads a lot as well. I'm
yeah.
a big Airhead guy.
My wife and
So
I go to this it's like a barista stand and they do like it's called Grounds here in North Seattle and they do like energy drinks and stuff like that. And when you get like one of the flavored energy drinks on top, they put like a sour rope, which I already love. They're those
mm,
sour straws,
yep.
love those. And they'll put like an airhead through it. They'll put a sour on there. They'll put like a sucker, and they'll put like a little umbrella, like those paper umbrellas, and it's like the fanciest little thing.
That's so
Yeah,
sweet.
we go there once in a while, so I have a lot of airheads around now, but I love airheads.
That is
Yeah.
so sweet.
Good pick. Candy was really good. That was on my list of stuff too, because Yeah, candy. Love candy. Snickers bars are also really good. I'm gonna count Snickers bars as candy as all part of that same
Yeah.
kind of thing. But yeah, I think Snickers bars and Airheads would be my top like 1, 2. So okay, so for the number 6 pick here, I got 6 and 7, so I got the wrap around. I'm gonna say banana. Because bananas are
Mm,
great.
fruit.
Yeah, they come in their own casing, especially. I don't even want fruit as a whole. I actually just want
Oh,
specifically
hey,
banana.
I like it.
Yeah, because like I don't want to see a guy like chomping on an apple out on the course. Because it's like, dude, you got to commit to like this long thing, and like that's a loud fruit for you to be eating, bro. Or like if somebody pulls out like a grapefruit, and be like, no way you're gonna like raw dog a grapefruit without putting some sugar on that or something. Like I can't with that. So, bananas, yeah, they come in their own little casing. You can like shovel down a banana like pretty quick and like be on your way. Good source of potassium. Good like quick sugar hit. Like bananas are awesome. And then my last pick here, I'm going to pick. I'm. I get. I guess my question would be like, I pick nuts. Seeds are different than nuts, right?
Like, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
yeah, I give you that. I give you that.
Sunflower seeds.
That's a good one.
Yeah, yeah. And
Because my last pick's going to be a little similar to, uh, it's a little it crosses a little bit, but I think they're different things. But yeah, no, seeds are
yeah.
prime.
Yeah, like the cracked black pepper, the David's cracked black pepper. People who know seeds, like David's cracked pepper is so freaking good. So, those are my favorite.
Cracked pepper, I like the dill pickle.
Yeah, the spit still's
Yeah,
good.
seeds are
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
totally.
So
Totally.
my last pick, kinda, it's close, but I'm thinking I want to go with gum. Like chewing gum.
Okay.
But is that? I think it's different than
That's
candy.
kind of candy.
It's kind of candy.
Yeah,
All right.
I personally wouldn't have picked it because it would be candy, and I don't want to take your last
Then
pick.
I'll go. I'll go something else. I'll go. Disc golf snacks.
I'll tell you what's left on my board, just as like some inspiration here. I have trail mix, I have peanut butter and jelly, and I have
Oh, PB&J, hands down.
my
We're gonna go PB&J.
my
I'm
last
a notorious every tourney.
my last one is pieces of shit like you. So
Hey, I like. I
I was running low on ideas, and I was just like, "You a snack? How about pieces of shit?" I have that.
you were that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's funny.
All right, so wrapping up our list, for Ollie, we have granola bar or Cliff Bar. We have chips, we have candy, we have PB&J. Dude, you got a whole like picnic like in your bag. That's kind of awesome.
We're ready.
Mine's a little more kind of grab and go. I have beef jerky, I have almonds, I have banana, and I have sunflower seeds. So yeah,
Sweet.
we'll throw that up on our YouTube pretty soon today. So go check that out and vote for who you think won.
Yeah. Wrapping up today, longest episode, and it felt nice. We're
It
just
was
like,
fun.
it
Yeah,
felt really good.
it was cruising.
Leave us with a little quote. You dream, you plan, you reach. There will be obstacles. There will be doubters. There will be mistakes. But with hard work, with belief, with confidence, and trust in yourself and those around you, there are no limits. Michael Phelps.
Awesome.
Love it,
man.
love it, love
Yeah.
it.
Good to see you. See you later, guys. Thank you.
Peace.